Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cup Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you on a fantastic Friday, wherever you guys are from around the world. Hopefully, everyone is all good, all well. Again, I'm going to apologize at the start of this show. If I sound like an old man, then again, I'm ill at the moment, or coming down with an illness. So, again, apologies if I do sound like an old, groggy old man. But halfway through this stream, anyway. But how are we all? Hopefully, all of you are all good. Of course, weekend of football yet again. Of course, the Reds are at home to Ipswich. Of course, looking at the rivals around. Of course, and looking at the big games around. Of course, the Premier League this weekend. Of course, obviously Arsenal, I think, are away to Wolves. Liverpool, of course, have Ipswich, but of course, obviously the big game, of course, is Chelsea against Manchester City. Which, to be fair, that's a pretty good game for this weekend as well. But hopefully, everyone's all good. Hopefully, everyone is well. Of course, we're going to be talking, of course, Liverpool, Ipswich. We'll be talking about Ipswich in a moment. Of course, obviously, newly promoted team. Obviously, a lot has happened since the start of the season when we did play them. And I think, obviously, a lot of predictions were made in terms of them, obviously, seeing whether or not they could stay up in the Premier League. Obviously, I think they've done a fairly decent job. But of course, obviously, I think a lot of people, I think, are saying they are going to go down. And right now, you'd probably think so. You'd probably think so in terms of, again, where they are in the league. But again, we're going to be talking about that in a little bit. Of course, we're going to talk about Arne Slot's press conference as well. Of course, come out with a bit of injury news. Of course, you guys looked on the YouTube shorts earlier. Of course, you guys would have seen the news I'm talking about. But yeah, we're going to be talking about everything. And of course, let me know your score predictions. Let me know your starting 11 predictions as well in the comments down below as well. But hopefully everyone's all good. Hopefully everyone is well as well. Ozan says, big up Ozan as well, saying yo, Colin as well. Hello, Makendo, saying 2 minutes late. Was I 2 minutes late? I didn't think I was. I hope you're feeling better. It's only today I've come down with it. Hopefully it'll just be something or nothing. Pick up Jack, my left back. 7-2 Liverpool is my prediction. You could have just predicted 7-0, and I would have been happy with that. But the two, really? Against Ipswich, come on. I expect a clean sheet against Ipswich. Anyway, but no, look, in saying that, mind, of course, obviously, Manchester City completely battered them, didn't they? Last time out, and I think everybody now has that type of expectation, unless you're on a slot, which he said in the press conference, didn't he, that he doesn't expect an easy game or them to roll over, for example. He expects a very tough game in terms of, again, their low block. And like last week was one of those games where, again, it's one of those freak results where everybody thinks Manchester City are back and Ipswich are poor. And look, it probably was the tale of both ends, but I do think Liverpool, again, can exploit Ipswich similar to how Manchester City did do that last week. Because, again, I don't think City were truly amazing. I feel like it was just just one of those City performances. Once one goes in, then two, and then it's just we had it a couple of years ago where we beat Crystal Palace 7-0 away from home. One of those like freak results where I think Liverpool had 8 shots in total in the game, and we ended up beating them 7-0. So again, that type of result is it is common in the Premier League, but no, again, for it to happen back to back, I think is pretty rare. Anyway, but look, hopefully it does. Anyway, Liverpool beat Ipswich by 8-0. That'll be the hopeful dream. Anyway, but Damo says, I predicted Ed Sheeran will only be singing sad songs after we thump Ipswich 3-0. I expect, well, if the game was on TV, I did expect the game to, again, be consistently on him. Like, look at what it was like in the first game, the first game of the season. The entirety of the first half was all Ed Sheeran. And I don't think we heard any football commentary. It was just purely like, oh, look at Ed Sheeran. He left at halftime, and Liverpool ended up winning the game 2-0. And like I said, a lot has changed since then. Liverpool have gone on and become Premier League favourites, to win the title. Obviously, they've gone on to have a season where, you look at it, they're currently 18th, 16 points so far this season. Of course, they are on the same points as Wolves, to be fair, who could do with a win against Arsenal, to be fair. So again, they could end up doing a job for Liverpool in some sense. But look, at the end of the day, of course, obviously we need to focus on ourselves and obviously go on to win the game. But if they could end up doing us a favour, that'd be brilliant. But just speaking on Ipswich, of course, again, like I said, 3 wins, 7 draws, 12 defeats so far in the Premier League. They've got 20 goals and conceded 43. Obviously, a big bunch of them being, of course, in the last game against City, obviously losing 6-0. But, looking at it, looking at the games before they lost their last 2 to Brighton and Man City, they've beat, obviously the form over the last couple of games has been pretty decent. Again, beat Wolves 2-1 away from home, which I think is a big result for them. But again, you look at the results, they lose 4-0 to Ipswich, they just lose 1-0 to Arsenal. Again, you expect them to lose these types of games, but then when they're beating Chelsea at home, obviously getting a point away to Fulham. Of course, they probably should have won that game as well, obviously beating Bristol in the FA Cup and then losing to Brighton and Manchester City. But again, Ipswich won't look at this type of game. Of course, if they can get something from it, of course, they'd take it 100%. But it's the fact that these types of games is not what they'll be looking at to getting points. Of course, it'll be, looking at their fixtures, looking at Southampton at home, Man United away. That's easy 3 points nowadays. Chucking anyway. But, they've got Palace away as well. Them type of games will be, the true games where they'll want to win and have to win, if they want to stay in the Premier League. Because, again, I think everybody expects Ipswich to go down. I think as of things right now, I think Southampton are definitely gone. I think Leicester are also gone, even though they are just only 2 points behind Wolves and Ipswich. I think that I think there was rumours this week that Van Nistelrooy might leave Leicester already. Which again, if that's the case, then wow, I'm really shocked by that. But again, I feel like Ipswich, Wolves, I don't think Everton are going to go down. West Ham are fine. Obviously, Spurs are down in at the minute. Man United, obviously in 13th as well. Again, Wolves is the team above that. I just don't think Wolves are going to go down, and that's the only reason why. Because again, you look at their goals. They've scored 32 goals this season, which is, again, more than Man United and West Ham and even Crystal Palace this season. Goals will save you, in these types of situations. And I think Wolves, for me, will stay up. Again, I don't think that's possible. But then, also saying that, mind, look at that Leicester team that went down. That wasn't a team that was, I think if you put it on a piece of paper, you wouldn't say that was a team that was incapable of not surviving, for example, as well. But look, at the end of the day, any team can get relegated in the Premier League. But for me, I think Ipswich are the most likely team to, stay up from the newly promoted teams. But again, Wolves tomorrow, if they got to win against Arsenal, that would be huge. But they've got to keep their big players. They've got to keep Matthias Cunha. They've got to, again, somehow add to that team with the limited finances that they have. And it's the same with Ipswich as well. Of course, they've got decent players. Liam Delap is one that, again, this season has been pretty decent. When you look at the goals that he's gotten this season. Again, top goal scorer, Liam Delap with 8 goals. Again, that is big for a team like that. And of course, and getting 10, 15 goals in a league season. Again, that's huge for him, of course, as well. But again, for me, they need to bring in maybe one more player as well to help with that quality level as well. Again, who that is, I haven't got a clue. Anyway, but let me know your guys' thoughts, of course, in the comments. You paying for the Christmas excuse with these colds and self-punching. But no, that's not a punch. I've already said this. I don't know what it was, but I am ill. Like I've been fine. Like this morning, fine, and this afternoon, I've just felt worse and worse. Like genuinely, I was debating canceling the stream, um, at 10 to, because Jesus Christ, it felt horrific. But I thought, why not? But look, at the end of the day, maybe the post match tomorrow might not be a thing. Who knows? At the moment, anyway. But hopefully, it's just one of those things that it'll be blocked up now, and then tomorrow I'll be completely fine, hopefully. Demo says Ed Sheeran casually interrupting Ruben Amorim's Sky Sports post-match interview has to be the most random moment of the season. Probably. It's got to be up there for sure. I think it. You look at just weird things this season that have happened. Again, it could probably be up there for sure as well. But Austin says, Con, thoughts on Curtis being out for 4 weeks. We'll get on to that in a minute. Again, we'll talk, of course, about Arne Slot's press conference and what he had to say about certain things as well. But I think I'll have a thought here in my mouth. Hero says, Van Nistelrooy wants to be Van Nistelrooy wants to be ready for the United job. He's never going to get it. The best chance he has, and to be fair, like I don't get. Obviously, their main target, of course, was Ruben Amorim, but I think now looking back at it, their best bet was probably going to be just let Van Nistelrooy be the caretaker manager for now, and then Ruben Amorim can come in the summer and do a job. Like now, when you look at it, Ruben Amorim for me has been very, cold-blooded in that sense, with his statements and saying Manchester United, this Manchester United team is the worst Man United team in history. And look, I think he's being so truthful that it's waking a lot of people up, which again, that can either be a good thing or a bad thing. And again, I don't really want to speak about United and their whole, problems and issues at the minute, because look, I'm enjoying Manchester United being where they are. But I think if Man United want to be a successful team again, Ruben Amorim is your guy. And I do think that, because I think he's very honest. I think he's someone that, again, he's not going to cut around it. If he's turned around and goes, a player's not good enough, then he's going to get rid of him. Like they're already getting rid of Anthony. I think there's two ways with the Garnacho stuff as well, where I think one is, of course, PSR, and they want to get rid of him for that. The other, I just don't think Garnacho's good enough for me. I've said this to a couple of people. I think Garnacho is awful, and I've had my head bitten off for that a couple of times. But look, I don't think he's good enough for Manchester United. Looking from the outside in, United fans might be, blasted their heads on that. Excuse me, chat. Oh, there we go. I thought I was going to be sick then. Of course, they could turn around and go, "Oh, we know a lot better than you," and that's fair enough. But look, at the end of the day, I don't think Garnacho is good enough. And if you was to turn around and go, do I think Garnacho could get into Liverpool's team and be a success? No, I don't think he could. I don't think he's good enough for me anyway, but that's just my thoughts. Taylor says Rude Van Nistelrooy wasted his new manager's bounce on the 4 matches he managed United. Then Rude said hello and Amorim said goodbye. Yeah, it's very, very true. Hero says I felt the cold more today. Gonna jump in my sauna blanket now. These are awesome as well. That's good to hear. As well. To be fair, the winds in the UK, obviously this weekend is going to be ridiculous. And hello, Luke. What phase is Slot in? Phase 1. And to be fair, Arne Slot's going to be in phase 1 and win the friggin' lot. That's what he's going to be. Anyway, but no, like as I mentioned, of course, in terms of Arne Slot's press conference, he did confirm that Curtis Jones is out for the Ipswich game. Of course, him alongside Diogo Jota and Joe Gomez, they are the only players out injured at the present moment in time, which again is a good thing in some sense. But what isn't good is the fact that there is no timeline for Curtis Jones to return. Now, again, Arne Slot did say that, again, he kind of hopes that it's not going to be months, it'll be weeks, and I think he said that quite, in terms of, like, again, he definitely thinks it'll just be a matter of weeks. Again, Paul Joyce did put a piece on it and did say that for him, he sees, or in the article piece, he does think that he'll be back for PSV potentially, but again, it's not great news either way. Of course, obviously going off at halftime in the Lille game, which again isn't great news either way, but I'd even rest him in the PSV game. There's no rush. Again, Ipswich, we should have enough quality for that. But again, we're going to need him in the games like Bournemouth away. It's going to be huge. Even in the EFL Cup, that in the second leg, that's going to be a huge game where we might need Curtis Jones to step up as well. So look, Liverpool have huge games coming up because, again, you look at the majority of our games, away to Plymouth in the FA Cup, away to Everton, away to City, as well, away to Villa, which of course got scheduled, didn't it, to 12:30. Well, pending 12:30. It depends whether or not if Villa will be in the Champions League knockout stages and if Liverpool reach the Carabao Cup finals. So again, hopefully we do, avoid that realistically, and we don't end up being in the Carabao Cup. Oh, we do be in the Carabao Cup final, and we don't have to play the 12:30 freaking kickoff, because that genuinely, like, the two things that should happen in English football. Number one, get rid of 12:30s. Should never work. And the other thing, bring 3 p.m. kickoffs back. In terms of, again, the blackout. Get rid of it. I think it's the most stupid thing in football. And look, that's just my opinion. Anyway, but of course, obviously, the big news is Curtis Jones is out for Ipswich, which, look, I think for me, he wouldn't have started against Ipswich anyway. I think, the midfield writes itself from what we've seen in the last couple of games. But again, him being out for a period of time isn't great because, like we said, even with Diogo Jota has been, 1 minute Jota's been claimed to be out for a couple of weeks, then he's out for 3 months, and that's something where it's been a little bit frustrating, I think, with the Liverpool injuries this season. We've not had as many injuries at one time as other clubs. Look at Bournemouth this season. I think they've currently got like 12, 13 injuries at the minute to first team players, which is ridiculous. But again, when we've had injuries, they've been the type of injuries that we expect them to be back, within a couple of weeks, and then they end up being out for months. Harvey Elliott, that was a bad one at the time. Him being out for 3 months, Jota missing 3 months with, I think, a rib injury as well, and then of course the little, all the little injuries. Ibu not fully recovering from his knee injury because of Joe Gomez's injury as well. But then, you'd think we'd add to the squad, to help the players. But nah, it doesn't look like Liverpool are even going to entertain anything in this January transfer window, which sucks, and it does suck because I do think Liverpool at least need to go and buy centre half to at least help with Virgil and help with Ibu. Because once everyone is fit, then fair enough. We've got Konza, we've got Joe Gomez, you've got Ibu Kanate, you've got Virgil van Dijk. But we have seen, for many, many seasons where we have one injury, okay, that's fine. And then, the steamroll then happens. Like, look at, the year that we were meant to defend the Premier League title, Virgil van Dijk is injured. Liverpool do okay, without Virgil van Dijk. And then, bang, have that. Joel Matip's out injured. Joe Gomez is injured. We don't have a fourth choice centre-back. And then we end up having to play Jordan Henderson and friggin' Ozan Kabak at centre half, and even Fabinho. We had to play Fabinho, the best, one of the best defensive midfielders at the time, at friggin', at centre back, and somehow we were meant to defend the league with that. But yeah, look, that again will be the stuff of again nightmares. And again, I touch wood that again we don't have any big injuries coming up anyway. But Damo says, I have trust issues with Slot when he says Jota was out for, with a niggle that morphed into him being out for several weeks. Arna has too good of a poker face. Looks like butter would melt in his mouth. Well, yeah, I know what you mean. To be fair, no, you are right. I think Arna Slot as well. I think he's calm in certain situations. I think certainly like some managers out there can make people terrified with certain things, but again, honestly, he's one of the most calmest managers out there. And look, we've just of course seen that now anyway. But I hope Richard Hughes surprises me with at least one signing. I don't even want to like. The thing is, the only thing I want Liverpool to do is get the contract sorted. Like, I'm sick and tired. Like, we are. What are we? We are a week. Are we a week even? Yeah, we are. We are a week away from it being February, pretty much. And yeah, a week tomorrow is the 1st of February, and we have no news on a new contract for anyone. And that is the most frustrating thing going. How where we could be on February 1st, sorry, and there's still no new contracts. None with the big three, none with Ibu Kanate. Like, you do have to ask yourself, what is going on? And look, people go, oh, the contracts are a very long and a very time consuming thing. Are they realistically? Are they, this drawn on? It's all we're hearing that, oh, Liverpool are confident that, Salah will sign. We're confident that Virgil will sign. I said it to you guys a couple of weeks ago. What, in a minute, one of these players are going to go, do you know what? They've messed around with me so much. I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to have a look at, elsewhere. And of course, none of them want to leave. But Trent is another story. That could be, again, Trent might be the first to sign. Who knows? But at the end of the day, we all know Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah want to sign new deals. We know this for a fact. They both of them do. So why is it so difficult? Why are we messing around and taking so long to sort simple things out? Because let's be honest, then the two of their contracts should be the most simplest contracts to do, and it's not like if it's not like if it's a Jordan Henderson contract where a lot of us, and a lot of us even at the time, understood that Jordan Henderson signing a new deal made a lot of sense for Liverpool, and it did at the time. But it made sense in him being a rotation option, not to be the main midfielder for Liverpool going forward. And what ended up happening, that is exactly what happened. Liverpool thought, oh, Jordan Henderson can go for another couple of years in the starting team. No, Jordan Henderson should have been phased out, and Liverpool's new midfield should have been brought in, like we saw with McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, and Endo. But with Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah, it's different, because at the moment, these two in particular, and even Trent, they are currently the best in the world in their positions. There's no centre-back better than Virgil van Dijk. And he's proven that over the last 7 to 8 years while he's been at Liverpool Football Club, that there's been no one that can touch him, in his level, for example. Like, for me, at least anyway, I think Virgil van Dijk is the best in Europe. And again, this might just be me, Liverpool, and people go, oh, it's biased. And, there might be some truth to that. But I don't think there's a centre-back that can touch Virgil van Dijk. Nobody right now can touch Virgil van Dijk. And there's even the argument to say that, look, he's probably been Liverpool's best player this season. And I think you could put him in any team in Europe, and again, everyone would want him because he is the best. Same with Mo Salah. Mo Salah, again, people have gone, oh, he's kind of like a system player. He's proven even this season that, excuse me, he's proven this season that he can adapt. He's playing a different style than what he was. It's kind of similar, of course, but it's different in many ways where, again, he's more on the ball, he's more creative. The fact, his numbers are proving that, for example. And look, I just think if all three of them go, then Richard Hughes's head needs to be on a chopping block somewhere. And, there will be so much carnage if all of them leave. And if they were to leave, then look, that would be devastating. And I do think it would be. For a lot of people, it would be. Anyway, excuse me, as my little rant over anyway. But that's the stuff from Nightmares. What's that? But I won't hold my breath. What's that in terms of new contracts or just signing anyone? Ozan, thank you for mentioning me, Connor. Hey, look, I thought Ozan Kabak could have been a really good signing for Liverpool, and then watched him against the Ev, and never ever want to do that again. No, anyway, but big up Scotty as well. Hope you're doing well, mate. Saying what is Hughes doing? I haven't got a clue, lad. Genuinely, I think we get one on deadline day. Con, don't know about you. I don't think anybody's coming into the club. Again, I'd love it if we went to go and sign a Hato, or even went bold and spent big on Kirkes. But again, we don't. We're not going to do that realistically now. Anyway, but going to be one heck of a transfer window in the summer. If all three of them go, as you said, we should probably face it. The three are gone. I don't think they are yet. Like I said, the longer it goes, the more I'll start to think like that. As of things right now, and again, I'll be truly honest with you guys and myself, I think two will stay and one will go. And we all know the one that I think, we all know the one that everybody thinks it's going to go. But I think two stay, one goes. That's my feeling at the minute. But again, we'd have to, of course, wait and see what happens in the meantime anyway. Because look, one report, excuse me, one report could come out and it ends up being like, oh, all of them are staying. Great. That'd be fantastic. But look, that's a dream at the minute anyway. But Scotty says, sorry, I meant a contract on deadline day. I hope you're doing good. I'm currently ill at the minute, mate. Hopefully you are good as well, though, mate. But yeah, I hope we do get news in the next week or two. If all three leaves this summer, even Michael Edwards needs the sack, not just Hughes. I would agree. I've said that. Okay, so what's the hold up if two will stay? Seems like a long time to come onto an agreement. These guys could have find schools for the kids, etc. True. It's very true. I think the most concerning thing though is when you listen to Mo and Virgil. I think more so with Virgil, like people ask him, is a deal close? And he's like, no, no chance. And, Ornstein and other people, and Joyce as well, have put out that Liverpool have offered them new deals, and they have, they have turned around and made proposals to all three of them. And it's like, if that's the case, then why is it taking so long? But look, at the end of the day, I think the most concerning thing as well is Ibu's comment as well. When he turned around and said that, look, Liverpool have offered me a new deal, but are we any close to an agreement? And he said that's another story. And if that's the case, then what are they doing? And what are they offering? Because I don't know if Richard Hughes knows this. Look, at the end of the day, they will get fed up and they'll go. And look, all of our players are good enough to play anywhere in Europe, plain and simple. And somebody like an Ibu Kanate that is 25, 24, 25, and can easily go to Madrid, could easily go to a Bayern, and be the main star for them guy for them teams. And instead, I don't want that. I want a Virgil van Dijk to stay at the football club. I want him to retire at the football club. And also, I want Ibu Konate to be the future Liverpool centre backs. I want him to be what Virgil van Dijk is now, be the captain, be the leader going on in the future. Because again, Ibu is so good now. He's got another level of development going. I think even, Arne Slot spoke about that earlier, where, again, he said at the moment he's an excellent defender, but the one thing for him that he thinks he needs to improve on is his work on the ball. And, once he gets that, again, he goes up to another level. And, look, we're on about, signings this, signings that. The freaking tie down the freaking people that are already are, please. And thank you. And then start thinking about, of course, signings anyway, which again, hopefully we do get to at one time anyway. But look, let me know your starting line predictions as well in the comments down below as well. Obviously, score predictions as well. Do let me know your guys' thoughts. Of course, anyway, we'll get to mine in a moment. But Damo says, I love that Ibu has no filter when he bounces into the press conference, happily chatting contracts and injuries, etc. Yeah, and that's what you want from your players. You don't want them to. And again, people go, some players are PR trained, some of them are, but I love that with Ibu, that he just walks in, speaks the truth. He come back too soon, from his injury. Didn't play against Accrington, didn't feature in the Champions League game neither. So, look, at the end of the day, Ibu now has had, games of rest, and hopefully now he's not on painkillers anymore, and he's had that, that extra time to come back. Because, like we said, I think for the Lille preview, that all right, having Ibu back now is great, but we put a risk on ourselves of him being out, when he is out injured, for even longer. And that, I don't want that. I want Ibu being fit and firing, for a big period of the season, because look at it at the start of the season when he was fit, he was available. That partnership between him and Virgil van Dijk, people couldn't get past it, and that's something where the last couple of games, at least, anyway, like we talked about in the post-match with Lille, that Liverpool at the minute are conceding one big chance and ended up conceding from it. And that's not great. We need to, nail that out of the game from us. But at the end of the day, there's so many other things where Liverpool doing things right, again, in terms of conceding chances. Look at last season, we've conceded a ridiculous amount of chances, but in terms of big chances that we've conceded this season, again, we're the best in the league for, the least amount conceded. So it's just those final little pieces where, again, I think we talked about Alisson's save percentage rate, isn't great this season, because at the minute, everything that's going near Alisson is going in the back of the net, which, again, if Alisson can help with that, of course, that would then prevent Liverpool from conceding more and more goals. But look, at the end of the day, defensively, we're a lot better this season than what we was last season, and that is, that's credit towards Slot and, of course, the backroom team for that. Anyway, but of course, let me know your starting 11 predictions in the comments. Anyway, this is my starting 11 prediction for, of course, tomorrow's game. It is at 3:00 at Anfield. Of course, I've got Alisson, Trent, Konate, Van Dijk, not Robbo, sorry. I've gone Costas instead of Robbo. I've gone Gravenberch, McAllister, and Szoboszlai, and then Nunes, Salah, Nunes, and Cody Gakpo. That is my team for tomorrow. Anyway, I think the midfield writes itself. I think the only probably controversial pick is probably Costas. I think, obviously, like we said, Darwin Núñez doesn't work. Not Darwin Núñez, sorry. Luis Diaz doesn't work in the 9. So play your number 9. Realistically, play Darwin Núñez. And I think, obviously, in the low block, some things might be, again, hard to look at it. But even still, if you even need a Lucho to play in the 9, of course, bring him off the bench. But I think the main aim for Liverpool tomorrow is just keep Darwin Núñez in the penalty area, because look at what happened against Brentford in the penalty area, scored 2 goals, and that, again, hopefully now bounces the confidence, because even midweek, when Darwin played, he had a good game, even though he didn't score for Liverpool. He did have a very, very good game, which again he deserves massive credit for. But yeah, for me, Costas is the major one where, again, I could easily see Robbo playing that, but still, I've gone Costas for me anyway. And I'm also going to go 3-0 Liverpool. That's my score prediction as well for tomorrow. I'm going to go Nunes, Salah, and Szoboszlai to get the goals for Liverpool anyway. But as Ozan said, strong team gone. I agree with the 11. Scotty's gone for Ali, Trent, Ibu, Van Dijk, Robbo, Gravenberch, McAllister, Dom, Mo, Cody, and Darwin as well. So the same apart from of course Costas with Robbo. Ozan going to say, how's it gone up, Ozan? It was 7-2 a minute ago. Like, again, no, like, say 7-0 and I'll be happy with it anyway. But look, again, we've got to perform tomorrow. Again, like we said it with certain games this season at Anfield, you look at the Fulham game, for example, there's been certain games this season where we've drawn and we've been pretty stupid with certain things. But look, we need 3 points tomorrow, because again, we've got really tough games coming up. Bournemouth next week will be huge. And it will be huge next week, because Bournemouth are no easy team, certainly away from home as well. So look, I'd be hoping Liverpool will be up for that, of course. But of course, we need to win tomorrow. And again, look, that could obviously put pressure on Arsenal. If Arsenal losing, then look, that would be amazing, for us as well. But sorry, 7-2 as well. Dougson, but hello Doug, hope he's doing well. He's gone with Ali, Trent, Canate, Van Dijk, Tsimikas, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Salah, Diaz, and Gakpo. So just Diaz, the difference for Doug. He's got 5-0 Liverpool. I love it as well. Damon's going with a Nunes hat-trick in my 3-0 prediction. Scotty's gone with a 4-0 win as well. Doug said, I was supposed to be going to the game tomorrow. Unfortunately, the weather paid a price to that. So that's unfortunate. Doug as well. But look, I know it's I think Scotland got a red warning, Doug. You'll know more than me. And I think where I am, there's a yellow warning for wind at the minute. As of course, obviously, if you're going to the game, if you're going anywhere around the UK, of course, please stay safe. Because again, it's ridiculous at the minute. With again, it seems like every weekend at the minute just seems to be a weather warning. It just seems every weekend. At the moment. Anyway, but of course, obviously, there's a lot more. Dangerous weather around the world. Look at LA, for example, at the minute. It's ridiculous what's happening there at the minute. Look at, was it Australia 5 years ago with the fires? Again, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? But Sky says hi to Doug. Yeah, we got a red warning. Concentrals, yes, ridiculous. But like I said, everybody please stay safe anyway. But I am going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Big thank you for everyone for tuning in to the of course match preview show. If you are new around here, of course, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Of course, we are on the road to 2K. So if you are new, of course, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Of course, anyway, if you have not checked out as well, I should say, the YouTube shorts as well on the channel, of course, from Arne Slot's press conference earlier, speaking on Curtis Jones's injury, and of course Ibu Kanate as well. Then go and check that out on the channel as well. And on Monday there is a special video coming up on the channel as well. I should say, if I can edit it properly. That again it is transfer based, but we're going to be talking about certain midfielders that could come into the football club as well anyways. So that's probably going to come out on Monday at some point as well anyways. So make sure you are tuned in, make sure you are liking, subscribing and hitting the notification bell as well anyway. But yeah, hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Let me quickly read out the last few comments. Dale says we had a red weather warning here today in Ireland. I had to dig out the big coats as well. Well, please stay safe. Anyway, Damo as well. But no, look, the weather, 1 minute you'll be this way, then you'll end up going that way, and then you're going to be safe anyway. But like I said, until next time, guys, that's going to be it from me. I will see you tomorrow. Well, if I am well, hopefully we'll all be okay. But yeah, it'll probably be 5 o'clock straight after the game for the post-match reaction, because of course I know plenty of people want to watch the football, so it'll be 5 p.m. tomorrow, straight after the footy, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the post-match reaction, hopefully with Liverpool battering Ipswich anyway. But until next time, guys, that's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cock Council. I'll see you guys later on. Ta-ra.